So why did you have a Reagan revolution, folks? Because people just like you stuck it to the Karl Roves and the John Boehners of the day, and you decided the candidate.
That's right.
Could there be a lesson for today? Because right now, folks, this country is Jimmy Carter on steroids. And you need Ronald Reagan on meth to turn this around, folks. Not just to go where Reagan did, way beyond Reagan. You got to gut your federal government and restore your constitution. But how do you do it? Reagan was a genius. He could unite the social conservatives, the fiscal conservatives, and the defence conservatives. The great communicator got them all singing off the same song sheet. But right now, your base is very fractured. So this is what I would do if I was Raphael's son. And it doesn't have to be him, but I think he's the most Reagan-esque figure out there by far.
That's right.
I would want to reunite that Reagan base right now. I'd want to get all these people together, and I'd go to them and say something like this: I want to get going, I want to run early, way before the primaries, way before Jeb Bush gets up ahead of steam, but we need to unify. And I know that just saying unify, unify, unify is a waste of time. You need an incentive if you're going to do that. So here's the incentive. The first thing I'm going to do is put Alan West on my VP ticket right now. And then I'm going to make Rand Paul Secretary of the Treasury, and he can do what he damn well wants to the Federal Reserve and the IRS, carte blanche. And then it's going to be Sarah Palin, Secretary of Energy. And it's going to be drill, baby, drill. Drill in your backyard if you want to. $1 a gallon gas for every American family. And then it's going to be Scott Walker, Secretary of Labour. And he's going to stick it to the unions, folks, because it's going to be right to work in every state.
That's right.
And then I'm going to make Mike Lee Secretary of the Interior, and he's going to return the federal lands to the states, people, so they can mine and farm and fish their own land. And then John Bolton will be Secretary of State. And I'm going to sick him on your enemies, and I'm going to rebuild your alliances. And then, very important, ambassador to the United Nations. No one, ever. And then Trey Gowdy, Secretary of Attorney General. And he's going to go after those vote fraudsters and prosecute and jail them. Justice in this land, folks. And then Dr. Ben Carson will be Secretary of Health and Human Services. And he will end the welfare culture in this country and restore dignity to your communities. And then for all of those Christians, those millions of Christians who don't care about politics, but they don't want Common Core, they love homeschooling, I'm going to say to them, vote for me and your millions. I'll make David Barton Secretary of Education. Name your whole cabinet. Run early and run as a team. Would you be inspired by a team like that? And would it unify the base? Because everybody's getting something, right? Everyone's got someone to inspire them. And when have we had inspiration at a national level since Reagan? Do we need it? Can we afford another nose-holding candidate, folks? No. People, right now, you have a big problem. Because every 4 years you put up one candidate and their media rips them to pieces. But what would the media do if you had 20 Rottweilers all running as a team, all backing each other up and not taking any crap from anyone? How would they handle that, folks? How would they handle that? And there's a precedent. Ronald Reagan named his cabinet in '76, but there's an even better precedent. You didn't just have a founding father, folks. You had founding fathers. You had George Washington and Samuel Adams and Patrick Henry, James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin. They ran as a team, folks. They had their egos. They had their conflicting agendas, but they put them aside for the good of the country and the good of the revolution. And look at the country they gave you. So right now, what I'm going to do is ask all of you people for 2 years and 2 months of the hardest political work you have ever done. Because that 2 years and 2 months is going to decide the fate of not just this country, but my country. Not just your children, but my children. I cannot guarantee you much, folks. 2 things I can guarantee you. If you do nothing, your children live in slavery. But if you work your butts off for 2 years and 2 months, the very least I can guarantee you is a right to look your children in the eye and say, I did everything I could. What is that worth to you? And if you win, and you can win, you will give your children not just the amazing country you inherited, but one even greater. Is that worth fighting for? So I just want to say to you folk, thank you so much for what you do for America, for my country, and for liberty. God bless America, and God bless the Tea Party. Thank you.
I'm telling you, ISIS, if not already on American soil, will be here. They are coming.
How did they end up where they are? Was that a complete surprise to you?
Well, I think our head of
Those who would trade our freedom for the soup kitchen of the welfare state have told us they have a utopian solution of peace without victory. They call their policy accommodation. And they say if we'll only avoid any direct confrontation with the enemy, he'll forget his evil ways and learn to love us.
A first-strike nuclear attack.
All who oppose them are indicted as warmongers.
At one point, all 5 men were described as too dangerous to be set free.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems.
if the problems were easy, somebody else would have solved them already.
Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
Tear down this wall.
If you and I have the courage to tell our elected officials that we want our national policy based on what we know in our hearts is morally right.
Violation of international law by Russia puts all of us in serious jeopardy.
The military options are not on the table in Ukraine.
Alexander Hamilton said a nation which can prefer disgrace to danger is prepared for a master and deserves one. Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.